Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel once again. So today's video is very simple. I'm going to show you a couple of leaves and you can paint all these leaves with very simple steps. And for today's video I'm going to use this size 5 round brush, and I'm going to use only this brush to paint a smaller element and bigger element. You just need little practice around these thing, otherwise you can do it easily even if you are a beginner. So let's start with the first one. So I'm using tip of my brush to create fine elements. I'm not applying any pressure, and then at the end I'm applying little pressure to create broader structure like this. So you can create a fine string without pushing any brush, and then you can apply little pressure at the end to get something like this. Now in this one I'm creating small leaf around fine stems, and I'm using very light shade of sap green color. You can use any color whatever you like. So basically you just need to understand how much pressure you need to apply into your brush for how much thickness you needed. So we are done with the first one. Now I'm going to repeat similar kind of stuff for the second leaf doodle. So for this one again I'm creating fine line to create a stem, and then I'm applying pressure. I'm dragging my brush little longer to get longer leaf this time. So I'm not doing anything different what I have done in the first one. The only difference is I'm creating little longer leaf in this particular structure. So you can do it in a different angle and pattern. You move your brush accordingly in which direction you want to create all these leaves, and you can use different shade of green. For the second one I have used a yellow green color, more yellow and less green into it. Now let's move to the third one. Third one is also similar to first and second one itself. The only difference is this time I am creating two strokes for one single leaf. So basically I'm creating one smaller leaf towards left, one smaller leaf towards right, combining these two together to create a one single leaf. And I have also kept one negative space in between these two strokes. So something like this you can do, and I'm creating all these leaves in a group. So basically one stems contains multiple leaves left right, something like this. So either you can keep the leaf shape smaller or you can keep leaves shape a little bigger to create different kind of leaves. Now let's do the fourth one. Fourth one is also similar to the second one. The only difference is in this one I'm creating only one leaf having multiple leaves deep serration into it. So on the lower side I have bigger leaves, and as I'm moving towards upward direction I'm keeping the leaf shape smaller and smaller. All these leaves combining together to create a one single leaf, and that is how you can create varieties of leaf using one stroke technique. So we have learned 4 for now. Now let's move to the next one. So in the next one also I'm going to keep things very simple and using one stroke technique itself. So again create fine stems having sub stems into it like this, and then push your brush a little bit using only tip of your brush. I'm using only 1/3 of my brush, pushing my brush a little bit to create these small elements, and I'm covering each stems with the help of leaves left and right, combining together to create a bunch of leaves like this. So you can consider all these as one single leaf or you can consider multiple leaves, totally up to you what kind of fillers you needed. Accordingly you can decide size of the leaf and the color of the leaves. So that's how we have created fifth one. Now let's move to the sixth one. Sixth one is again similar to the second one. The only difference is we are creating two strokes. In the second one we have created only one, and creating these two strokes combining together creates one single leaf having one negative space. I'm moving my brush a little bit longer to create longer leaves, just like third one. The only difference in this one and third one is in the third one we have created smaller leaves, in this one we are creating longer leaves. So apply pressure as per what kind of thickness you need, and move your brush in a particular angle to create a leaf pattern. And obviously color is totally up to you what kind of color you need. Now let's move to the next one. So this one is also one single leaf having multiple leaves into it. So again I'm moving my brush, applying little pressure and creating a bunch of leaves like this. First I'm covering the left area, creating smaller at the bottom and biggest at the top, and then you can repeat the same thing, creating one straight leaf in the center. Now repeat the same thing again on the right side and combine all these together to create one single leaf. So something like this also you can do. You can convert these into multiple palm leaves, like many varieties of palms are available, and you can do all these things with the help of this particular technique. Now let's move to the another one. In this one I'm combining again multiple strokes, but this time I'm creating one leaf having serration in it. Now I'm getting these serrations because I'm creating single leaf, but I'm not keeping any gap between these, and something like this you can do. So whenever you like to create bigger leaf, only one leaf without any negative space in between, so you can combine multiple strokes together to create a bigger leaf having serration into it. And this is the simplest way to create serrations in the leaf, which I like the most. So whenever I needed these kind of leaves, I use this particular technique to do it. Now likewise you can create many. You can change the perspective of the leaves as well, keeping the leaves smaller and bigger. Totally up to you, and what kind of color you need is totally depend on you. Now let's move to the next one. This one is very simple. We are creating rounder leaves like this. You can do it with one single stroke itself. So move your brush towards upward direction and come back to the center again, so you will get something like this. I'm combining 3 leaves together to create one single leaf, and it's very simple. You just need little practice around it. So what you need to do, without applying any pressure, just move your brush towards upward direction and then come back to the center, applying little pressure into your brush. This might look little difficult, but it's very simple to paint. You don't have to create all these things using one stroke. You can create these elements with the help of pencil and then fill it with the help of watercolor. That is also you can do. Now I think I should create one more leaf here, so let me do it quickly and then we can move to the last leaf. Last one is inspired by rose leaf. So again I'm creating a stem, then you can divide this into substem. One leaf contains 3 leaves into it, and I'm keeping the leaf rounder or smoother. You can keep the leaf size smaller and bigger, but combine 3 leaves together, left, right and center. So for now you can keep the edges smooth like mine, and if you want you can add serration into it. As this one is inspired by rose leaf, so I'm keeping little serration. So I'm just tapping my brush around the edges to get little serration into my leaves. So this is also another way to add serration into your leaf, especially when your leaf is smaller in size. Otherwise you can do it like we did in the third one from the bottom. And likewise we have painted all these leaves easily using one stroke technique, as you can see. Now you can do one little thing which is totally optional. If you want you can do it, otherwise just skip it. I'm using a smaller brush, and with the help of darker color I'm just going through each and every smaller leaf and bigger leaf that I have, creating a middle line around my leaves. So I did the same thing for the first one, for the second one as well, And for the third one, I'm creating a dark shade around the edges only at one side. Again, these things are not important, this is totally optional, but you can do all these things to elevate a little bit what is going on into your leaves. So similar kind of thing you can do for other leaves that you have. These are very small, might be hectic, so you can avoid it, or else just create one fine line in between each leaf. You can also create vines in the bigger leaf. So this one is little bigger in size, so I'm creating multiple vines around it. These things are just for extra detailing into your leaves, although these leaves are on the loose side, but creating definition into your leaves is something important, is what I feel. So I usually like to create all these fine lines and shading to get some extra shading and detailing around my leaves. And we are almost done with today's video. Hope this video is helpful for you guys. Please do let me know if you have any feedback for me, and thank you so much for watching.